Hello, Samadan here, and today I'd like to talk all about enchanting, specifically Shadowlands Enchanting, and what we can do to level up our enchanting and what kind of things we can currently make gold with this early on in the expansion. Now, enchanting is a very interesting one because we have a bottleneck at the moment. The price of eternal crystals, the last of the three materials you need for enchanting, is really expensive this early on in the expansion. Now, I expect with the mythic pluses and the raids coming out that this will gradually go down, but at the moment this is causing a bit of a bottleneck and making prices seem a little bit strange at the moment. So as an example, you can see here we've got soul dust at really low 6 gold, sacred shards at 189, and eternal crystals at a whopping 8,000. So I imagine this eternal crystal will go down fairly significantly, probably down to about legion levels of chaos crystals, which for me was about around sort of like 200 to 400 gold eventually. Now with that soul dust, my actual material price at the moment is coming out from the bracers that I disenchant, and that's much higher than that. You can see here someone's tried to get someone to post lower at 6 gold to try and snap up some cheeky bargains, but the actual market price is more like 18 gold at the moment. And for me that is based off of the price of disenchanting leatherworking bracers, which is currently at the moment giving me a soul dust price of 9 gold 44. I'll go into all the price strings and everything I've got for soul dust and sacred shard a bit later. But the main thing I want to look at here is just the general prices and how they're affecting things at the moment. Enchanting's a bit of a strange one this early on in the expansion. The demand for the items is going to probably increase once people start regularly upgrading their gear and wanting to put enchants on them to be the best they can be in their relative, whether it be mythic pluses, raids or PvP. So at the moment what's been happening, they've been throwing them on the auction house at less than crafting costs, so there's a bit of a glut of enchants on at the moment. A lot of the time people have been powering through their enchanting, using up those very expensive eternal crystals just to try and get to the enchanted material map market to try and make a profit there. Unfortunately that market has also died down quite a lot because the markup you can put on those materials is very slim, because you only need 1 soul dust for those. So let's look at enchanting as a whole. First I'd like to look at the leveling process to show you where the bottleneck is whilst you're leveling up your enchanting. I'm going to show you my Miro board, which I have here available to patrons, and this is the leveling process of enchanting. So basically you start off, you want to either disenchant to about 25, or you can make Shadowlands Gathering enchant if that's profitable for you at the moment. Depends how much you have you want to disenchant. And then it's fairly easy to go through and do all the next easiest thing, the leech speed, sacred stats, and then the bargains take you all the way through. You'll find a lot of people posting these on for minimal price because they're almost throwaway enchants at this stage. People are really looking just to level up their enchanting. You can get to about 60 quite easily and cheaply. Then you've got a few options. You want to avoid anything that involves eternal crystals. So the enchant you can use here is Soul Vitality, and that will go green at 70, but keep going with that one until 75, and then that will go grey. So you're here at skill level 75. Now your only other option here at this point is to craft the eternal enchants, like something like eternal agility, and you've got 5 skill points here, 75 to 80 to get through, and you have no other option than to use these. Now if you have a character that has a bonus to their enchanting skill, this will come in very useful here. Also, if you look on your calendar and you have the Dark Moon Fair, which we currently have on at the moment, make use of that for your 5 free skill points, although you might want to save that for the end of your enchanting because you still need eternal crystals. So going back to the board here, so you'll need 5 eternal crystals to get through this bottleneck, and then going from 81 to 100 you can actually make tenets which use the sacred shards. These ring enchants here you can start making, and 3 sacred shards at this point is still much cheaper than the price it is for an eternal crystal. So I would say carry on with these until they go grey. So that will go grey at 100, so you want to look at that. The final skill points to get to 115, which you're going to need eternal crystals for these. So rough ballpark about 15 to 20, because they start going yellow at 110, and then I would say just make any weapon enchant from 110 to 115, and hopefully you'll get your enchanting up to 115. Hopefully some of these will be a profit at some point as well, but at the moment people are powering through this really quickly and then dumping them on the auction house really cheaply because they want to get to this point where you can make the enchanted materials. So the enchanted materials are the enchanted Elysium bar, the enchanted heavy callous hide and the enchanted lightless silk. This is what people will then need to use to make their legendary base items in large quantities, so there's quite a high demand for these at the moment. But again, the prices of these on my particular server, you may find it on yours as well, the prices are being driven down very rapidly at the moment. There's not much of a markup on these, depending on your price of your soul dust and the price of your other material, whether it be heavy callous hide, Elysium or lightless silk. This is your tricky point here, is to be able to make a profit on these. In fact, if you have a look here, according to TSM at the moment, it's only my enchanted Elysium bar that's telling me it's a profit, but that's mainly down to my price of heavy callous hide here, which is currently telling me it's 2,700 to make. I could probably make that myself with my leather worker and get myself a decent bargain on that. My lightless silk average buy price is quite high at the moment at 86, whereas you can see there the min buyout is at 46. So if I was to follow the market trend of that, I might be able to make a small margin here. Again, I'm finding that it's quite a competitive market here. People are looking to sell things, but you can see all these ring enchants. The bargains particularly are incredibly low in price. The tenets could hopefully rebound once people use up their stock and it starts to level out. And then I've got a few of the other enchants that use a mix of sacred shards and soul dust that I'm still making a small profit on each of these, and this is where I'm currently making most of my gold. I will occasionally get lucky with the sale of one of these, and I've made a decent amount of gold on heavy callous hide and Elysium bar when I've been able to get the prices correct on that one. So enchanting's in a bit of an interesting position at the moment. There's some things that are heavy negative profit at the moment that I think will balance out once the eternal crystals go down, and then there's things that will be in high demand that will probably go up in price, and things like this which will eventually balance out once the prices settle down on each of these materials. The key here is really just getting your materials as cheaply as possible, ideally less than market price. So make friends with your local farmer. So how about the pricing strings of these materials? Let's have a look at those, because as I said, it really does help to have a leather worker and a tailor at your disposal. Currently for me, the Desolate Leather Armguards are incredibly cheap to make at the moment, with Desolate Leather being very cheap and only needing one penumbra thread at the moment, giving me a crafting cost of 22 gold, and then I divide that by roughly about 2.4 to give me my price per soul dust. If I look at the tailoring equivalent, which is Shrouded Cloth Bracers, currently got a crafting cost of 39 gold there, because that requires 3 of the penumbra thread, which is pushing the price up high on there, even though it only needs 3 of the shrouded cloth. So what I've done for my soul dust, I go over to materials here and look into soul dust. You can see here for my price of soul dust, I put in the cost to make one Desolate Leather Armguard, which takes 6 of the Desolate Leather, so that's my smart average buy of the item number for Desolate Leather times 6, plus the vendor buy price of the penumbra thread times 1. And then I've divided that whole thing by 2.4 to give me my price for my soul dust. This works very well so long as you still have a smart average buy price. So it's important to always have a stock of your Desolate Leather so that TSM has a more current and up-to-date price. If that ever runs out, then this smart average buy price will be invalid and you'll need to use something like average buy or DB market. So keep an eye out on that. You can make a longer string that takes that into account those. But for the purposes of simplicity, I'm just going to show you the base string I'm using at the moment for my soul dust. I'll put in a string in there for tailoring as well that uses the Shrouded Cloth Bracers, and you can copy and paste whichever one you want. That'll be in the description below. Now for my sacred shards, I am using the price it cost me to make some Shadowlace Cuffs in tailoring. I will also look into the equivalent for leatherworking and see if that's cheaper, and pick the cheapest between the two. So there we've got the smart average buy price of lightless silk times 10, the average buy price of shrouded cloth times 2, plus the vendor buy price of penumbra thread times 3. Then what I've done there is taken off the mat price of my soul dust, which is times by 1.5, and then the resulting amount left over I'm dividing by 1.4, which is about the rough rates that you're getting from the Shadowlace Cuffs at the moment. So I'll put this string in below. You can currently see here my Sacred Shard price is coming in at 170 gold at the moment, and at the moment looking at that, so the min buyout is 189, and if we look here for the Soul Dust, the price is 944, whereas the min buyout is 18. So I could make a bit of a profit here just flipping bracers and turning and selling those enchanting mats directly. That's certainly an option. Depending on the prices on your server, you may find something there. Then there's the other end of the market when you've maxed out your tailoring, so see if you can make some gold with the Enchanted Aletheian Bar, Callous Hide and Lightless Silk. My price for Eternal Crystals at the moment is currently going with the market value, which is 8,900. Still massively expensive at this point for me to be able to make anything useful out of this in the future. Once this balances out though, I'm sure we'll start to see some profits coming through with the higher end enchants, and hopefully these lesser enchants to some extent will still show a profit for us. There we go, we just sold an Agile Soul Walker for 75 gold, so they are selling at the moment for me, enchants steadily ticking through, so it's worth doing at this stage. We've got server reset tomorrow, there we go, Shadowlands Gatherings just sold for 135. So enchants are selling well, and you may find some success on your server. I hope that's given you an overview as to how to level up your enchanting, what to look out for the bottlenecks, and where to take things from there in the future. I still think it's very much early days yet for enchanting, so don't write it off if you've invested a lot of money into that. If you are considering investing a lot of money into your enchanting, please do bear in mind that the price of the Eternal Crystals is very high. If you don't know about it already, you can go over to Bastion on each of your characters and you can do the Baidos quest here, feed him, and then he will throw up a Eternal Crystal that you can get once per character and then send that over to your enchanter. And also any enchanters you have can go over here where there's a treasure chest where you can go through and you have to pick each of these in turn and then you can collect up a chest here. I'll put a link to a Wild Child video that I used that showed me how to get that, and then that gives you a cloak that you can disenchant for an Eternal Crystal. And of course in the future dates there will be more and more epics and sources for epics coming through, so keep an eye out for those. And I'm sure we'll see the price of these Eternal Crystals go down and then the whole market balance out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave any comments if you have any questions. I'm looking forward to seeing how all the professions work out in Shadowlands. Please do keep posted on my stream and on YouTube here. I'll be posting many more guides as time goes on. And of course, if you would like any of my profession groups, they are available over on my Patreon. You can see that in the link below. So until next time, happy gold making, and I'll see you very soon.